Okay, so you've been learning how to mix and master your music, and you've likely learned how to use tools like compression and EQ, but you're probably wondering, what should you do first in your signal chain? Should you be doing EQ or compression? And I'm going to talk about the way I like to think about this and why it matters. So first of all, when it comes to compression, when you are compressing a signal, what is the main purpose of compression? Well, that is to control the dynamic range of a signal. And what does that mean? Well, we have a compressor here, and I've got this vocal, for example. I've got the compressor, and I'm going to go ahead. I've got two compressors, actually. I'm going to turn this one off. And I'm going to adjust the ratio of this compressor just for example's sake. I've got this compressor. You're going to lower the threshold, and now the signal that goes above that threshold is going to be turned down. And then what we do is we turn the overall volume of the signal up so we can hear the quiet parts more. Like if now the quiet parts are getting lost in the mix, like let's say a vocal that has some quieter parts, now you can hear the quieter words better. And the louder parts aren't too loud. So we're literally compressing the signal so that it's more even and then bring up the overall volume. And now when we do this, because we're bringing up the overall volume and the quiet parts, well, that means that things like breath noises or sibilants are going to be brought up in volume as well. So if you compress a vocal, for example, and let's say the vocal, it's not recorded really well, or maybe it's really breathy. Well, in that case, when you compress it, you're going to accentuate those things. You're going to accentuate the bad parts of the vocal. So what I like to do is I like to throw an EQ on and just get like a rough estimate of what I'm going to be doing to the EQ. So I know that for a vocal, for example, I'm pretty much always going to be doing a high pass filter. And in this case, high pass filter, and then just a little bit of, taming this area right here. So it sounds like this.
Feel the fire, the flames igniting my veins. Chemistry when I'm with you. I feel the rush, my face, your touch.
So I just get some general EQing that I know I'm going to do anyway out of the way, and then I'll go ahead and do some compression. And then after that, I can always EQ the signal again. And so what I used to do back in the day, and I still do this depending on what instrument it is. So if it's like pianos or something, I'll just throw a compressor on. And the reason that you have to think about it this way is because if you have a EQ before a compressor, well, if I just make an adjustment to the signal, the EQ before the compressor, well, now that's going to affect how it's going into the compressor, and it's going to kind of affect how the sound's being compressed. If you just compress something, you can do whatever you want to the EQ afterwards, and it's not going to affect the compressor. So if you EQ something before and then you end up changing it later on, it can kind of mess with your compressor settings like that. And so that's why I like to get some EQing done that I know I'm probably not going to mess with again. I can just leave that alone. Do some EQ, especially on a vocal that I'm pretty satisfied with. And then I can do the compression, and then I know I'm not going to be accentuating different sounds that I don't want. Okay, and to demonstrate this, I actually have a vocal that it's from a track that I have out called Patterns, and it's a vocalist I worked with, and I helped her to get set up and get a microphone, audio interface, all that. But the problem is when she recorded this vocal, I think she was a little bit too close to the microphone. Like I may have given her some poor advice, and she got a little bit too close. And when you get too close to a condenser mic, it's going to pick up more low end and like breath noises, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this vocal, and then I'm going to show you how using compression before EQ and other things can make those sounds worse. So let's go ahead and take a listen. And this is just a vocal without anything on it at all.
I've been here before. Feels like nothing's changed. It's just a different you.
So now if I take a compressor, let's just do 4:1 ratio. We'll just do like a somewhat a fast attack time. I'm going to lower the threshold and then bring up the makeup gain. So let's go ahead and do that.
I've been here before. Feels like nothing's changed.
Let's compress it quite a bit just so you can really hear.
I've been here before. Feels like nothing's changed. It's just a different.
So you can see it's really making it sound like it's bringing out those sibilances and just making it sound a lot worse. And so what we could do instead is I'll take this EQ, put it before the compressor. I'll even do some de-essing before the compressor. And now I know that I'm going to get rid of quite a bit of those lows. So let's just go ahead and dial this in.
I've been here before. Feels like nothing's changed.
I'm just going to do some quick stuff. So something like that.
I've been here before. Feels.
And now I'll just throw on this de-esser.
I've been here before. Feels like nothing's changed. It's just a different you. The story's the same.
Now that's not perfect, but if you go ahead and take a listen, if I throw these effects after the compressor, now let's go ahead and take a listen.
I've been here before. Feels like nothing's changed. It's just a different you. The story's the same.
And you can just tell it sounds a lot better when we've taken care of some of the issues and then ran it through compression. So this is how I like to think of compression. I hope this video helps. And if you like my teaching style, look in the description below. I have a course called Mix Immersions where I teach you everything you need to know in order to mix and master your music to a professional level. So go ahead, make sure you look in the description below. I also have a free mix training down there you can check out, but check that out. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, see ya.